he's here. This is very exciting. I think our guest is here. Judah Friedlander, are you here, sir? There.
David, whenever you need me, I'm here for you.
Thank you. Uh, wow. I love your backdrop. That is that is just
What are you talking about, David? What are you
nothing.
referring to?
It's perfect. It is absolutely. Judah Friedlander is a comedian. He hosts live, pay what you want stand up shows every week. Shows
I
are
don't host
interactive.
them, David. I headline them, David.
I'm sorry. He headlines pay what you want stand up shows. They are interactive. You can choose to have your camera and mic on so that you can participate in the show and see and hear other audience members, in addition to seeing and hearing the performers. For more information, go to judahfriedlander.com. Please welcome Judah Friedlander.
Thank you, David. Thank you. That's right, David. The shows I do, David, the shows I do are actually interactive. It's not this monarchy that you have where you and your guests get to talk freely while the peons just get to write something in the chat, okay? My shows are about freedom, David.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me rethink. I guess this is a form of fascism.
You said it. Your words, not mine, David.
Right, right. So, how do you see the situation? How's the
I
world?
think things are a little scary in Ukraine right now because the CDC said that war was going to be mild. So, I mean, the CDC said they did their research.
Right.
They listened to the CDC. They did the research. They said they listened to the airline CEOs, and they said the war in Ukraine was going to be mild. And I think they've been off on this one. So
It's time for Fauci to go. It's he got it completely. Once again, Fauci missed. And is it because they're not wearing masks in Ukraine? Is that the problem?
no, I don't think that's it. Well, the war is a whole other thing. I tell you, it's awful, and it is really weird turning on the television, watching the war, and know that we didn't 100% fully and directly start it. It's just weird. I mean, how far has America fallen that we're watching a war on TV and it's not 100% our war, you know?
Dang.
So
Can you say that? It's almost unpatriotic to
I
say.
don't know. I don't know what Biden's doing. I mean, he stopped one war in Afghanistan, and now he's not even fully joining this one. I mean, what's happened to American foreign policy? I don't know why he's not going in. The CDC said it's a mild war, so I don't know what he's waiting on.
We've lost a step. You're right. This is not my country anymore. I don't recognize. Yeah. So,
but, I think it's great that the pandemic in this country is over just in time for World War III. The way the CDC followed the science from Delta Airlines has just been so good. Yeah, the thing that the weird part that I think, I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with this country, but it's like with the CDC, they do so many anti-science things, but it's not in the way that the far right says they're doing it, which is that, there is no pandemic. There's no need to do any mitigations. It's like every decision they make is pro, corporate billionaire donors of the politicians and what they want. So, because they've made more money during this pandemic. So it's never towards health,
Right.
But they're doing a great job. They're really doing a great job, the CDC. Over 1 million deaths yesterday in America. We did it, David. Nobody thought we could do it. I mean, the numbers they put out there, the numbers Fauci and Birx and everyone put out there at the beginning, they were never saying, they weren't even saying 500,000. And look how much we've done.
You gotta dream big. They don't dream big.
You know what? Maybe they're just not dreamers. You're right, man. Have you ever had a dream?
I think I'm limited. I didn't think we could get to 1 million. I'm not a big thinker.
Yeah, it's okay. I think these Canadian truckers and now the American truckers, I think that is the most successful protest in protest history
Yeah.
because they're protesting to end all the restrictions, and there's no fucking restrictions. It's like, call it a victory lap already, you know? But it's like, but I mean, seriously, they did a trucker protest for a few weeks in Canada, and then America's just like, all right, we'll just end all the restrictions. It's like, I mean, you look at, like, if Gandhi like had a truck, you know, if Gandhi and Martin Luther King had some trucks, think about what they could have accomplished, you know. I think it really is the most successful protest in history, which says a lot, you know.
So let me think here, because I'm doing the math. Before the Canadian truckers swarmed on Ottawa, there were all these the vaccine and mask mandates. It's disappeared.
Yep. Yep. Most successful protest in protest history. And Canada beat us to it. Another loss for America.
Yeah. Martin Luther King, he should have had a 32 wheeler instead of a dream.
Or you can still have a dream, but you got to have a truck. You got to have a truck. I mean, if you have a dream but no truck, how is that dream going to get delivered to the people?
Oh, I hope people are listening. This is great advice. This is great advice.
That's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. You know, I'm just trying to help America. And how about a round of applause for America? Can we get a round of applause for America? That's right. USA, I think it's now the 71st week on the front cover of Perfect Country magazine in the United States. I'm so happy. But I'm a little worried about us. I think we're starting to slip as a nation. You know, if you would have asked me 6 weeks ago, I would have said the USA is definitely going to win the Nobel War Prize this year. And now I'm starting to think we're not going to get the Nobel War Prize. And we win it every fucking year, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck Congress is doing.
Yeah.
Thank God they ended that pandemic, though. Thank God they ended that pandemic.
We can accomplish.
They literally just changed the map of transmission in the United States from dark red, and then they just changed it to like soft pastel green and pink, and they were like, "Hey, see, it's fine now." And, you know what CDC stands for, David? Do you know what CDC stands for?
I forgot.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah. You see, they forgot the P. It should be CDCP. It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They don't do the fucking prevention.
Right. Right.
They forgot the P.
Right.
You know, you got to stick up for the letter P, you know.
Never forget your P.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So you're optimistic about this country, even though you see flaws. You love America, and these are tough times, but we're all rallying around the flag and supporting one another, and you see nothing but good, right?
David, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now. Look, David, recently I've been having a lot of optimism about my pessimism. And I think that's the way to do it. I think pessimism is where it's at.
So you see the glass.
You're saying, oh, you see the glass half full or half empty?
No, you just see the glass. It's a beautiful glass. Who cares if it's half empty or half full? It's a glass, and you should just celebrate that. Who cares what's inside the glass?
That's an interesting way to look at it. I usually don't even see the glass, to be honest with you. People say, do you see the glass as half full or half empty? I'm like, I don't see a glass. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think you're secretly an optimist. I think you're looking at this country right now And I think you drop to your knees every day and say, "Thank you, God. It's the greatest time to be alive." That's what I see when I look at you. I see somebody who bounces out of bed and says, "Good morning, evening, or after, whatever time you wake up," and you go to it.
Did Sylvester Stallone write that soliloquy of yours?
Frank Stallone,
Frank
unfortunately.
Stallone?
Yeah, Frank. Are you telling me that you've changed? Are you? Do you see bleakness on the horizon? That's not the Judah
I don't
Friedland.
see how I don't see how anyone could, to be honest with you. I mean, when you look around at the nation and the world, how could anyone see that? You know, especially the success of those truckers. You know, how can anyone see it? The victory of the airline CEOs and public health coming together. You know, it's a lot of great things happening right now.
You always have solutions. One of the great things
No,
about
look, I feel pretty good. We're seated in the top 5 for World War III, so I'm feeling good. You know, I've been watching the war on TV, and they haven't even listed the score yet. You know, it's been a month, and it's like the worst thing about this war is it's taking away all the press from all our other wars we have going on. You know, and kind of feel bad for those wars. You know, getting left out and stuff. So
you know all wars. I love all our wars equally, all of them. I don't pick favorites.
see, that's where I disagree with you. Now, what do you think we should do if the war continues, if Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues and gets even worse? What do you think America should do? Or if China invades Taiwan, what do you think we should do?
I think we should debate whether or not it is in fact World War III, if we should call it World War III. They've already come up with the name. Like, they didn't have a name for World War One until the war was over. And now we're not going to make that mistake again. We've already named it World War III. We know this is going to be World War
I
III.
disagree. I think if China invades Taiwan, we should. I think we should invade Vietnam again. I think that was our most popular war. I think we can all agree on that.
Warm memories, a lot of great music.
You know, look how many great movies we got out of the Vietnam War. You know, I mean, sure, we killed hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese and killed many of our own troops, but have you seen Forrest Gump? I mean, I think it was worth it.
It was absolutely.
Do you remember? Willem Dafoe's biceps in that scene in Platoon? I think it's cinematically. I think it was worth it. You know, a victory for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Have you seen any movies, David?
Only on my computer. I have not ventured.
That's still a movie. I didn't say go to the movie theater, but a movie. What did you see?
I watched Munich, or something about with Jeremy Irons, and I watched. What did I watch? Cactus Flower on Turner Classic Movies. I like old movies.
You like old movies?
Yeah.
It's good. I do want to say this, David. I think you might have, and I'm being completely serious here, you might have the oldest podcast. Not longest running, but the oldest podcast. I mean, I turn 75 next week, and I feel like the young guy here. This is the longest, for people who don't know, David, this is the longest podcast. And if anyone has had the privilege of texting with David Feldman, I want to let you know that his texting style is the complete opposite of his podcast style. You do a 6-hour podcast 8 days a week, and you might text one syllable every 4 days.
This is
in
right.
Booking this show.
Right.
Like I texted you like, hey, I'm interested in doing the show. And then I think a day later you text back, when? And then 2 more days go by and I'm like, I'm available all week. And then you go, fantastic. And I was like, wow, fantastic. Now David's getting verbose for his text style. That's a lot of syllables for a Feldman text. But literally, like, like the first time I texted you, I thought someone stole your phone because it was one word every few days. And I've seen your podcast and I like your podcast. And I'm like, this is not the same fucking person. There's no fucking way this is the same person.
Yeah, there's a problem. I'm emotionally distant in
Mm.
in reality, and this show gives off the illusion that I'm a human being. But in real
Interesting.
life, yeah,
Interesting.
in real life,
So what? So when you're texting, you just have other stuff going on in your head, or what's going on?
I'm asocial. I think that
Asocial.
I'm kind of is the word. I fancy myself a loner, but most people just don't want to be around me. It's
I hear
not.
you.
Yeah, I mean, uh,
And you're in the Upper East Side of New York City. Is that correct?
yes, and I find all pain it can be sourced to human beings. That if there's short of physical pain, all emotional pain flows from another human being. So I limit my exposure, and then I do the show so there are witnesses, so I can play it back. And oh, yes, I was the asshole here. And that's why I like surveillance. I wish I could get the NSA to play. In relationships, I wish I could just look up and say, NSA, can you just play this back for us to prove that I'm right and she's wrong? That's what I'm hoping for.
I think you bring up a good point. I mean, I think humans uh, are the most destructive force the planet has ever seen.
Yeah,
Not close.
right,
Not close. You
right.
know. So as a species, no one is as dangerous as the humans. It's not close. I mean, I think by default, humans are a terrifying species. Um,
But
many
I'm
other
acutely
animals, they might kill and stuff like that, but they generally kill what they need for survival.
right,
We go way beyond that.
right.
So
Cats do the same thing.
cats are similar. That of all the animals, they're probably the most similar to the humans.
Right. And
That's
that's
why I
why.
don't like them.
Why don't you
And
like
other
cats?
people, they're like, "Oh, that's why I like cats." I'm like, "All right, well, now I know someone who to stay away from."
Right, right. I don't like cats because I'm not a people person.
Exactly.
Right. They shit in your house, and they demand that you clean it up. I think like you're the kind of
David, we shit in our houses also. I just want to put that disclaimer out there.
well, you have a lot of TV residuals, so not all of us.
A lot of us shit indoors. Okay.
That's not all of us.
Yeah, when I said we, I meant the people.
Well, you've done pretty. You're very successful, and the reason you're successful.
I'm just a role model. Okay.
The reason you're successful is when people get to know you, they like you. I've had managers and agents who've said, you should go to this party, let them get to know you. And I said, if they get to know me, they're not going to hire me.
See, I never got that far in a conversation with a manager or an agent. If I hear a manager or an agent's having a party, I know where not to go. That's where you don't go.
But
I remember when I was first starting out. Because most managers and agents, it's like they speak another language. It's basically the same language as like much of corporate America speak or like PR speak, where no one's being honest, and
Right.
it's all this. I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but they're not being honest. And I used to like when I first started. I'm a kid, and I'm thinking, oh, I guess I'm just not grown up enough to understand what they're doing. And I'm like, no, it's you understood. They were bullshitters, for the most part. So
See, you're different from me. You have a life, you're out doing things. And I've just
Look at me. What the fuck are you talking about?
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful backdrop.
I'm in a box. I'm in a box, David.
I've seen you. I've gone down to the clubs, and you're happy to be there. And all I'm thinking is, what is the shortest distance between where I am right now and my bedroom? How do I get to my bedroom as quickly as
See,
possible?
that's showing privilege there. That means you have an apartment you want to be in.
Oh, that's true.
Not everyone in New York has that situation.
Right. Now, are you didn't grow up in New York, but you love this city. You are always whenever I see you, you're always, oh, have you eaten at this place? And you're Broadway. I can't. I have tickets to see Deborah Messing aging on Broadway. She's going to age 100 years on Broadway. You're like the museums. You cannot believe all that this city has to offer. Right? You're in love.
I just like going to Queens and walking around. That's what I like doing.
It is a beautiful.
I like going. Well, I don't know if it's beautiful. I wouldn't call it beautiful. It can be interesting. I wouldn't call it beautiful. I don't understand people when they say New York's beautiful. I'm like, it could be exciting. It could be enraging. It could be very engaging. I wouldn't use the word beautiful for New York City. It's a pretty ugly city as far as cities go, but it can be an exciting city. It's gotten worse over the years in the sense with how, I'm sure you've talked about how corporate it's gotten, the corporatization of the city. But there's still a lot of great things, and there are some great people in the city. They can be harder and harder to find, and sometimes you have to go as far as you can away from the center of the city to do it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And the subways, when you get on the subways, are you afraid you're going to push somebody into an oncoming car? Are you terrified that you're going to stab somebody?
No, I don't do that, David.
Oh,
I don't.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid to take the subways
Because you're going to commit violence.
well, yes, it's on the rise, so I'm afraid I'll be one of those.
People that do it. Yeah. No,
or
that
like,
hasn't occurred to me. That has not occurred to me.
like I'm afraid now I'm going to put all my excrement in a bag and spread it all over somebody.
Well, I'll be honest with you, David. That's nothing to fear. That's just something you got to do it. You got to do it. That you shouldn't be fearing that. That's all I'm saying.
Did you like our poo bandit?
I don't what I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Oh, he's a hero here.
I'm out of the loop. What's the poo bandit doing? I'm out of the loop.
Gentleman who shared his poo with a fellow traveler, and I don't mean communist. He got arrested for spreading his poo on a woman, and literally said to the judge, and I'm not making this up, shit happens. And
You see, this is what's called. This guy probably has a PR person because back in the day, that would not have been a newsworthy story. That would
Right.
have just been something that
Right.
happens.
Right. I hear you. So before you go, please come back. This is a privilege to have you on the show, and you are amazing. How do people see your show? It's pay what you want?
I don't know how they do it. That's up to them, David. I don't get involved in their personal business.
But when is your next show?
Oh, Saturday I'm doing a show. I basically do live stream stand-up shows. I haven't done a show at a venue in over 2 years now because, I mean, a lot of people don't know about it, but there is a pandemic going on out there. A lot of people don't know that.
You're
But,
like, oh, is this COVID?
yeah, well, the coronavirus is the pandemic that's been going on.
But you, the world champ, not doing stand-up.
Well, I'm doing stand-up, but only online. I'm not doing it at venues currently.
And
I do about 2 or 3 a week online. All the shows are pay what you want, and they're about 2 hours. I usually have 2 or 3 comics going up before me, doing about 10 minutes each, and I do about an hour and a half. And yeah, the next one is this Saturday, March 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Western, and it's info's on my website or Twitter and Instagram have a link. It's at Judah World Champ, JUDAH World Champ for Instagram and Twitter. And the website is judahfriedlander.com. Friedlander spelled like Friedlander.
The live shows are on Zoom.
Yeah, they're on Zoom. Yeah, and it works great. It works. You don't have to buy 2 drinks, and you don't have to have drunk assholes sitting next to you. And yeah, it works surprisingly and shockingly well. It's pretty much the same as at a venue. In some ways, it's more personal because I'm seeing into people's homes as opposed to everyone being at a neutral location together. So in some ways, it's almost more interesting in some ways. But because of the pandemic, I think it's unlike the CDC. I think it's a good idea to try to suppress the virus as much as people can and not get everyone infected. I mean, the CDC seems to think that getting everyone infected and then saying now you have immunity, they don't mention it's for 3 months, but only. But, I think it's probably a better idea for people not to keep getting the disease every 3 or 4 months. Because there's no real herd immunity from it. That seems pretty obvious. So I'm just doing shows online right now. So
it's interesting. It's been 2 years since you've been doing these shows online.
Over 2 years now. Yeah. Oh, well, no, the first couple months, like when the lockdown first started, I wasn't doing any shows. I didn't know Zoom existed. I didn't know there could be an internet show, and then I learned about it. I think the first one I did a guest set on someone else's show. I think that was May 2020, and I think the first one I produced was July 2020. So I've been producing my own shows since July 2020.
Okay, 2 years ago, the comics were saying it's not the same thing as a live show. It's different. You can't hear everybody laughing at the same time.
Yeah, maybe it's because they suck, Dave. Maybe it's because they suck.
You learned how to do it. I would assume how you perform now is exponentially better than how you performed 2 years ago on Zoom. What did you learn?
I mean, I guess it's better, yeah, but I wouldn't say it's exponentially better. I think my first shows were very good. I watched a few shows before. It was a little similar to like first starting stand-up. Before I did a show at a club, I went and saw shows. I didn't just have never seen a show before live and then just walk in there. So this is a similar kind of thing because I'm like Zoom. I'd never heard of Zoom. When I think of Zoom, I think of a Super 8 movie camera lens or a kids show from the 1970s. I didn't know what Zoom was. And then I watched some shows and I was like, oh, this fucking works. It's the same shit, And then I talked to some comics and they were saying, oh, you have to wear headphones. You can't do it without headphones. And then I did a show without headphones. So I'm like, that's not fucking true. You can do the show without headphones. And then I was, and then they were saying how there's like a bit of a delay on Zoom, and there is, but you get used to that because even when doing stand up, when you do stand up at different venues,
I've played Arlington, Texas. I know what the delay is between the punchline and the audience laughing.
You know that well.
You play Arlington, Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But what does it say? So, but it's like there is a little bit of delay on Zoom, but it's so normal now. It's like everyone's adapted to it. That would be like saying, like I was talking to some people. It's like doing a phoner for what comics call a phoner for a radio station.
Right.
That's where instead of having you like in studio, you call in and you're a guest. It's like we're talking on Zoom right now. People are watching on YouTube. No one's thinking about what a difficult communication process this is. It's fucking normal. That would be like when the phones were first invented and people would be like, oh no, let's I know we're a 3-hour drive away, but let's let's wait next month to talk in person. This phone stuff is too difficult. It's like it's fucking normal,
Right.
So, and then even at venues, every venue's different. Some venues are kind of echoey. Some venues are big and cavernous, and it takes longer to hear the laughs because they're further away. So it's a minor normal adjustment that no one fucking notices, is all I'm saying. So.
Right. With the
And what did take me a while was I have my own microphone. I'm a comic. I've never owned a microphone before, and so I bought a microphone. I had to buy stuff to all of the recording equipment. I have a mic stand. I never had that before. So it's almost like you have to build your own venue at your place and then perform online. So that was kind of like just learning on the fly how to get all this audio equipment and visual equipment and stuff. So that was a learning process. That took a while. But the performing stuff was thankfully pretty easy.
And are you more or as prolific? Obviously, you're as prolific. You're coming
Well,
up with bits.
it's interesting. About 20 or so years ago, I lived in LA, and I remember when work kind of took me out there for a little bit. And when I was out there, people are always, even before I went out there, people were saying, "Oh, you can't get any stage time. There's no stage time out here." First of all, that's a lie. There's a lot of stage time in LA. You got to hustle and work harder for it. You got to drive a lot. It's not like New York, where geographically it's a tiny city. LA
Right.
is geographically massive. To get from one place to another can take a while. Um, but there is, that being said, there is not as much stage time as New York. So I wound up doing more work in LA off stage than I did in New York off stage. More time working on the material and stuff like that instead of just nonstop performing, coming up with material. So now that I'm doing, like in New York City, I'll do, 2 to 5 shows a night. Each set is like 15 minutes. Well, now I do my one show a week, and I'm doing about 100 minutes on that show. So, and then I'll do 45 minutes on someone else's show, and then sometimes I'll do 2 of my shows. So I might be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of sets, stage time a week. So still less than I would like, but it's not nothing. And for trying out new material, Zoom is actually quite good. Yeah.
You have to come back. I'm keeping all.
Yeah,
our,
I know. You got another guest here. I don't want to.
I'm excited about the idea as we move into the metaverse, the idea of comedy clubs where you can be in your underwear and still perform.
David, all this stuff, and you just had to make it creepy. You had to make it creepy, David. Unbelievable. Now, one of these days, I'll get back to doing shows at venues. One of these days, I'll get back to doing shows at venues. But I will, nevertheless, continue doing shows online because people from all over the world can come and watch and come together. Right. So it's a good thing.
Well, everybody should go to judahfriedlander.com and buy tickets. It's pay what you want. Follow Judah at Judah World Champion. And
no, Judah World Champ.
I'm sorry, Judah World Champ. I apologize. And you can keep your microphone off and your camera off, or keep it on during your shows. You can lurk or be seen.
Yeah. It's kind of like you can sit in the front row, you can sit in the middle, or you can sit way in the back where no one will ever see you or hear you. It's kind of like the option.
I'm going to come. Thank you, Judah Friedlander. Please come back.
Thank you, David. Will do. Much love. Stay safe. Stay sexy, everyone. Winners.
Family for me, your brothers. Thank you. That was great. That was amazing. He comes loaded for bear.